Hey everyone, it's Kimmy. I am Mama on a Mission. I am a 14-year online reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and on Whatnot. And every Monday I do a combo video of what sold ship with me, which is where I share with you every item that sold for me over the weekend. And I tell you a little bit about why I think it sold, what it sold for, and I ship it right here and hang out with you guys for a little bit. Usually we do get a little chatty towards the middle or the end, but I have some really great items to share with you. I'm really excited. A couple of my best sales possibly of the entire year. Fantastic flips. I'm mostly a bread and butter girl, and that usually means that I take low cost items, $1 to $2 that I typically find at the bins, and I'll sell them for $20 to $25. And that's my bread and butter or the core of my business. But this, I have an over $100 sale. Woo woo. So that's always fun to kind of throw in there. And of course, lifted my sales for this weekend. Now, if you've been following my channel, there is a lot of chaos out there. There's a bunch of changes rolling out. I don't know why in Q4. I'm not going to try to get into that part. On both eBay and Poshmark. There's chaos, just in my opinion, in the reselling world right now. People are considering leaving or have, quite frankly, closed their shops. So even amidst the chaos, I'm happy that my numbers are great for the weekend. Poshmark during last week was like, I don't know what happened. It was like I was invisible on Poshmark all week long, but I still got a couple sales this weekend, one being a fantastic sale. So let's get to the numbers. I'll share the numbers as a whole of what I sold this weekend. It is November 17th, 1 week away from getting to Thanksgiving here. So these numbers are from the 15th and 16th of November 2025. And this was the best weekend I've had all year long. Oh yeah. As most of you know, if you're following my channel, I'm kind of going through a transition in my reselling business. I had a brick and mortar resale shop, and that has now closed. November is my first month only doing online. I'm kind of figuring things out and rolling with the punches. I hope in 2026 I will consider myself a full-time online reseller and set my goals accordingly. But throughout October and November, my numbers have been increasing. So that is good news. Woo woo. And this is the best weekend ever. So let's talk about the numbers. eBay popped off. I was like, on Saturday, it was like, ba-ding, ba-ding. I was like, this is like the good old days. When you used to, back when reselling was a little less cool. And you used to hear those cha-chings all the time, or you got those notifications all the time. And that was what it felt like this weekend. And that was honestly kind of fun. I did $458.99 for the weekend just on eBay. $458. Saturday, Sunday. It's Monday morning. I've got all my stuff pulled. Poshmark, although amidst this chaos, there was one item that really propelled. I had an over $100 item on Poshmark. I'll show you here in a minute. My sales on Poshmark for 2 days was $267. There was no sales on Depop. Depop's always hit or miss for me, so that's not really that shocking. Although the last couple weeks I've had 1 to 2 every weekend. Well, that weekend I didn't. So it's not really that uncommon not to have one for the weekend. For a total, for the weekend, $725.99. And that is honestly fantastic. For the remainder of November and December, for a 2-day weekend, I'm just hoping to stick around $500, and I'm going to be happy with that. Most of my numbers are 4 to 5. Last weekend was $597, so I was creeping up on that $600. And now this weekend I did $725.99. That is amazing. Like I said, I do have one item that was over $100, and then I do have several that are in the $30, $40 range. So besides my bread and butter, my $18 to $20 sales, which is the basis of my business, I have several that are much more than that, which is very exciting. I also wanted to note that I met my listing goal for once in my life. No, I have a new listing goal that I'm trying to achieve now that I do not have the shop. That, the shop was part-time of my income, and my online business was part of my business. So I have new listing goals, and I hit it finally on Friday. Thank goodness. And it's my new goal for being full-time is going to be 15 new listings per day. And I'll just be really honest with you, and we'll get going on the shipping because I have a stack here. I do genuinely have an issue focusing. I very much am like a squirrel, and I get distracted, and then I'm going to go start dinner in a crock pot, and then I'm going to go change the laundry, and then I'm just sitting here zoning out looking at the wall. Like I do struggle with that part, so I really, really have to focus. And that will be a struggle for me for sure. Because sometimes I'm like, I had 5-6 hours while the kids were at school. What did I get done today? But I genuinely, like, I also have to be easy on myself because I have a hard time focusing. I really, really do. All right, we have all these items. This wonderful customer said she's going on a trip. Can I get it out ASAP? You betcha. Let's do that. This is Prana. 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 You guys know that I do a lot in hiking, utility, nylon camping type of pants. She's going on a trip. These are a pair size 4 nylon pants. They're boot cut, and they're actually low rise. This is a great bread and butter sale. Most of my Prana is at $20 plus shipping. I got these at the bins, and they're a size 4. Prana utility pants, low rise, boot cut nylon. I put in hiking and outdoors. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that's solid bread and butter for me. I pick this kind of stuff up at the bins. It's lightweight. I'll measure it. My bins outlet, Goodwill bins outlet, is $1.59 per pound. This is 9 ounces. So you're almost right at a half. You're looking at 80 cents cost. It sold for $20. Minus fees. Poshmark will send me $16. So my profit on this is $15.20. And that's right where my bread and butter is. And I'm very happy with that. Prana, good hiking, utility, camping, maybe even like fishing or boating, all those outdoors. I usually like to pick up more of the convertible type of pants, which means they may either roll up or zip off into, like a capri or a short, which makes them versatile. This is just going out to Chicago. So that should get there in plenty of time. Bada bing, bada boom. One done. Because I have a really great sale here. I am going to try to dig, I guess, because we got to start at the top here and get rid of but ship some of these other items. This is that like chartreuse green yellow color that's very popular, especially in these linen beachy materials. 100% linen, Carlisle, size 14, 3/4 sleeve blouse. The brand Carlisle was not a reason to pick this up, really. I mean, if this was like an Eileen Fisher 100% linen, you'd get a couple more dollars out of it. But it still is 100% linen. And it sold for $29 plus shipping, going down to Alabama. And this color is really popular. I believe it is called chartreuse. It's like that kind of lime lemon green color. Of course, this being 100% linen, that's also a reason to pick it up. Another bin's find here, and honestly, a great flip. $1 is what I probably paid for this at the bins, and it sold for $29 plus shipping. So that's a fantastic sale. I would love if all of my orders were right around that range. Very solid sale. Beachy, coastal, that linen is lightweight, airy, breathable. People like that. It's also a more natural fiber, which is a selling point, of course. This sold on eBay, so I do have to weigh it here. $29 plus shipping. Yeah. Right. like I said, going down to Alabama. It's going to cost $5.86. So that is great. I actually have quite a few. So I have such a mix here. This is how the last weekend's Ship With Me What Sold went as well, because I have a mix. Like last weekend, I remember I had 2 swim pieces and we're going into winter. I have several linen pieces, lightweight tops, and then I have blazers and sweaters. So, you know, you just never know what could be selling. I have a pair of Morel like water shoes. Like again, I don't know, maybe with the holidays, people are traveling to different climates and looking for different items. But this like this is a fleece lined pair of Gap pants. So fleece lined definitely is a fall, winter, maybe early spring item that sold for me. I picked these up at the bins as well. They're new with tags, Gap. And the price on here was $79.95 brand new, which Gap can be very pricey. Gap Fit, new with tags, $80 fleece lined track pant, women's size large, hiking, outdoors, and camping. This sold for $22 plus shipping and is going to Pennsylvania. So another great like fall kind of item, fall, winter. It's fleece lined. So if you're hiking and you're wearing something fleece lined, you know, it probably is going to be a cold climate that you would want to wear that in. Or cold. Pennsylvania's similar to my weather, depending on where you're at. And another great bread and butter sale there. New with tags is great. I do have this new scale that we've been talking about. I just messed it up. Because my other one like kind of died, and I actually got a notification that one of my shipping, the weight was off, and then I realized that my scale was going awry. It was sticking, and I could tell something was going on with it. I mean, the new scale was like $19, $20 or something. So really it wasn't worth the headache of trying to figure out why it kept having read errors. And I just got a new one here. Shipping out in some of my plaids. You guys know I'm a sucker for a cute little bag. Almost getting to this really nice sale, but a lot of really just solid bread and butter, good brands, good materials here. This is another bins pickup. Most of you know that my business started out mainly plus size clothes because I am plus size. And this is the brand Catherine's. Sometimes it just doesn't pick that up the way I want it to. Catherine's, but this is a new with tags 4X, so you can still see the stickers on it. And it is another like neon yellow kind of color. They called it the Easy Tee V-neck in size 4X or a 30-32, which is a larger size. And I'm happy to sell this $18 plus shipping. And another great bread and butter sale there. Great that it's also new with tags. And 4X, you know, I don't find a whole lot in the 4X, 5X range. So I do like trying to accommodate as many sizes as possible in my fellow plus size babes. So a solid bread and butter here. Catherine's. Yeah, the Poshmark Chaos, this was a Poshmark sale. So I still had $267 in sales on Poshmark, with one that really propelled it higher because it was over $100. But the Chaos is giving me anxiety. I did 2 like Poshmark eBay changes videos last week, and I'm like, I don't think anyone wants to hear me complain again about Poshmark. But there was more things that happened, and in fact, my Monday morning has included several emails from Poshmark that they sent me and like kicked me out of my Poshmark closet. They made me change my passwords. Like there's all kinds of things happening, and this is my business. It's like if we had like a job like in an office or a corporate world or whatever, and like someone was like, hey, I think you did this wrong. like whispering you like, you know, over the cubicle, and you're like, what? You're starting to feel a little bit anxious or worried about your business, right? This is how I make money. And honestly, I went in and looked at my sales, and even though they are kind of Poshmark has been a mess for a while, they still have some really solid sales for me. Like, I would be sad not to have those sales. Like, they have an impact on my life. They have an impact on my business, because I had been following this chaos for a while, and there's so many people who are like, I closed my shop, I turned them all off, I deleted them all. Like, there is some people are making some drastic decisions, and to each their own. But it's making me nervous, because I'm like, what am I gonna do if I'm waiting for another email from Poshmark basically at this moment. And it's just making me feel uncomfortable. This is a fantastic sale. I remember sharing these with you guys. I found these at a regular thrift store. I paid $7, which is a higher cost for me, but usually happens when I'm in a non-bins environment. It's the new with tag Wrangler Retro May, which is like a flare trouser from Wrangler. And these are very popular. The sell-through rate was great. The pricing was great. I knew I was going to get about $35, and that's what I sold these for, was $35 plus shipping. New with tags Wrangler Retro May trouser flare jean, very trendy right now. 35 plus ship. Of course, after Poshmark takes their fees, I get 28. So minus $7 cost of goods, that's $21 in profit on an item I spent $7 on. So that's essentially like tripling my money. And for me, that's great. They were a size 34, which is a little bit of a larger size. But just in general, Wrangler, the trouser jean, you know, a lot of the cowgirl equestrian aesthetic involves boot cuts or trousers, like trouser style flares. Something to keep in mind. So that is a great flip on Poshmark. So this was a $35 sale on Poshmark. And it was from Monday through Friday last week. This is the only sale that I got after that. Like, it was like I did that video, and then I think like Saturday morning I woke up to this sale, and I was like, woo, I finally have a sale on Poshmark, because Poshmark was dead last week. And ironically enough, these are going to Kentucky. And I hope they love them. A really nice pair of jeans, honestly. I almost kept them for myself. Let's get to this great sale. Let's do it. For anybody who's paid attention to me for 20 minutes already. Okay, sometimes when I find things at the bins, I'm like, why did somebody not take this? Or why did they throw it back? And I get overwhelmed with, like, I start sweating, because I'm like, there's got to be a flaws or a button. Is there a huge stain? What is happening with this? And I didn't find anything. Not there. Not when I listed it. It's a fur coat that was made in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's the brand Nicolay Furs, and I estimated it to be in the 60s. I had to do a ton of research for it, but I found it at the bins. So it is heavier. It's about 3 pounds. You know, so $1.59 per pound. You're looking at like a $6 cost. And it sold for $120 plus shipping. I think I've had listed for maybe 2 months. So 120 plus ship. My take home is $96 after fees, and I paid $6. So my profit on this one item from the bins is $90. So that's fantastic. Sometimes even I have to remember that obviously Poshmark moved to the USPS Ground Advantage. This is one of the bigger boxes that you can order from there. That's another thing. I know I'm still waiting for more envelopes. I don't know if they're out of stock or they forgot about me or what, but this box works great for bigger orders, bundles, bigger items, coats, shoes, that type of thing. So this fits right in there. So again, a $90 profit is fantastic. And obviously one of the reasons why my Poshmark sales were a little bit more than normal. It's going to New York, New York. It seems like every time I do this, these Monday shows, I always have something going to New York and I always have something going to California. New York, New York, though. Have y'all been there? I don't know. Before I got pregnant with my kids, I do have a business degree. I did have the first and only corporate job that I had before I got pregnant. And I did do traveling. I was an executive sales assistant for the VP of sales of a big company. And I was like 22 getting on planes by myself. I don't know what I was thinking. I was very lucky. I got a really great opportunity. And I did go travel. I can't remember if it was New York or if it was like New Jersey or something. I went to several times. We had customers out there. Now I don't like to leave the house, let's be honest. Like back then, like it was fun and exciting to go do those things. And now I'd rather be at home. I have some really nice blazers here, 2 of the same styles. So pay attention. This is something you might want to pay attention to if you're a reseller, because they both sold this weekend for me. So that's fantastic. Look how pretty this is. Pay attention. Look at this. Isn't it so pretty? This is Tailbits. Size 8. It's the Aberdeen blazer. And I had 2 Aberdeen blazers sell this weekend. This one went for more, and it makes sense because this gives me all the holiday Christmas vibes. Look at the lining on this. How cute with the little dog. It is a wool blend. But the Aberdeen blazer, and honestly several blazers from Tailbits, do really well. So it's something, especially in the larger sizes, but this was a size 8. And that was another thing with the other one, was it was a petite sizing. So not that I'm ever, I like to pay attention to those things. I think the plaid and the wool blend outside on this, and of course it being holiday Christmas time, elevated this sale. $44 plus shipping. Now, this was on one of my haul videos maybe a month ago, and I said, do you guys think I paid too much? I paid up for this. $9 for this Aberdeen wool blend plaid blazer. It sold for $44. My earnings, my take home after fees is $34.66. So my profit is $25. And I would still say, it makes me nervous to pay that much. I normally don't. That's out of character for me a lot of times, but that's still a solid sale. What do you guys think? Remember that thrift haul? I kind of asked for your guys' opinion to let me know what you thought, because I don't normally pay that much. Anything over $5, I really have to consider. So, South Carolina. That's why I do like the bins, because, and I know some of you don't have them or you don't like to go to them. I have people comment and they're like, absolutely not. I hate the bins. And I get it, because it's a mess and it's a lot of work and nothing's sized and there's people all over. Back in the day, now we're getting to the chatty part of the what sold ship with me. There was a rule even before the pandemic that it was one person to a bin before all the chaos. I know that happened during the chaos as well, but now they've obviously gone back to, you can elbow each other all you want. You could throw someone in the bin and nobody even cares. But when I first started, I went to a bins that's now closed a long time ago, and it was one person per bin. And if you wanted to look in that bin, you had to stand behind them, stand behind the line and wait until they were done. And if there could be multiple people waiting for the same bin. Sometimes I almost wish they'd go back to that, because everyone always getting in my business. Sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I'm all about it, and some days I'm like, if anybody gets close to me, I'm going to walk away, because I don't like it. I don't like it. But some days I've been doing the newer bins much more often, and getting in there. If you're a bins shopper, I'd love to hear from you. What is your experience? Like, how is yours? Is there a lot of fighting with people? Do they they push you, they elbow you, they lean over you, they throw stuff in, they know what they're doing. They're throwing stuff right in front of me. I'm looking right here and you're throwing your stuff right in. This has been sitting for a while. Lane Bryant. I think why it's that is because it was a 14-16, which is really just like an extra large. Lane Bryant is more of a plus size brand that I do better with. A jersey knit boho peasant top. It only sold for $9 plus shipping. I'm happy to move it out and get things going here. I'm cleaning things out. I'm trying to figure my life out before the new year, with all these changes. And Poshmark's not helping with that. With all these changes they're doing and the chaos they are, spreading, a lot of Poshmark sellers are very upset. They have been for days. It's not helping with my figuring my life out. Because even like I said, it's the Mondayest Monday ever. I woke up. The first message I got from Poshmark, I checked my emails. It was like 5:45 this morning. And it said, gosh, I should look. What did it say? Poshmark, alert. What did it say here? Password, nope. See, and I've had to reset my password. It just is such a disaster. I have so many emails right now. I have several from Poshmark because they made me change my password several times. And, look how cute. You may remember I picked these up at another thrift store was going out of business, a very, very small one on the backside of a small town not far from me. It was very small. It was mostly home goods. The last couple days she did, look how cute. Oh my gosh. She did 25-cent kid clothes. And these were both size 4, 5T. Look at it's a little Thanksgiving turkey. And I just couldn't. I love these. I bundled these two together. So it's 50 cents for these two cute holiday themed dresses. And they sold for $17.20. This one is Pat Pat, which is a brand, like a kid's brand. The other one was like a boutique, like one of those boutique things that doesn't have a brand on it. But 50 cents to $17.20 is great. Going out to Minnesota. So I started out with lot of 2 girls size 4T, 5T Halloween, Thanksgiving, holiday dresses for fall. So that's great. I was like, you're selling your clothes for a quarter? She says, yes, the kids' clothes were a quarter. So 50 cents to $17.20 plus shipping. That's a fantastic sale. And honestly, that little turkey dress is absolutely adorable. So I can just picture some little girl, and she's gonna look so cute in her little turkey little turkey dress. 10 ounces for both of those dresses. $5.90. Again, lots of holiday plaid. I have plaids, and I finally ran out of my pumpkin poly mailer, so that is gone for now. And we're sticking with some holiday themes here. All the plaids, My throat is a little scratchy again today. My house, the humidity has been going down, when it gets cold, and a little scratchy. So what else? We still have a ton of great sales here. Oh my gosh. I better get moving. Moving. Faster, Kim, faster. This is the other Tailbots. There it says right on the top there, Aberdeen. Tailbots, Aberdeen. But this is a 16P, and it's not a wool blend. Really nice, though. Gives me kind of nautical, classy, preppy vibes. And really, Tailbots in general is an expensive brand. Their items are pricey. This sold for $17, though. The other one sold for $44. So like I said, I think a couple things, and I accepted an offer. Truly, it is lower than I wanted. I was hoping to stay in the 22, 25 range, but I'm trying to move things out. So I just accepted it. I didn't try to think about it too much. But note that these Tailbots blazers, and anything really like career wear, I do pretty well with in the better brands like J. Crew, maybe even Banana Republic. Stick to larger sizes. And that plaid was really pretty for, you know, for the holidays. So I think that's what made it better. Yeah, I put old money, preppy, and career wear in my keywords description. This is a little bit heavier though, so it's sold on eBay. Going out to Georgia, it will cost $7.67, so that's not terrible. Aberdeen blazer. But look, I have some linens here. I have another wool, a couple good brands, a big Carhartt. This is going to take forever. I got to speed it up. Faster, faster. What was that? Oh my gosh, the Mondayest Monday ever. I think that's what I'm going to have to call it. Listen to this. Let's see what happens. Is there like some kind of weird voodoo thing going on in my house today? It won't print this. One moment, please. I'm telling you, there's something about today. All right, I unplugged it, replugged it in, reset it, and I got my label printed. Going out to Georgia is that really nice blazer. Accepting offers, trying to move things out. Here's another brand that I do okay with. It's Task, T-A-S-C. A lot of Task is like bamboo performance wear. This did have a logo on the side of a gym. And so I think that's what made it sell for a little bit less. Task, T-A-S-C, men's XXL, pullover, organic cotton, and bamboo. Sold for $17.73 plus shipping. And yeah, I usually do have something that has some kind of material base. Obviously, I have some linen, some wools. Now I've had organic cotton and bamboo. Doesn't always mean they're $1 million sales. Sometimes I have organics. I have an Eileen Fisher in here that did okay, where it's probably hidden under this big pile here. It's not always a pickup, though. I don't want people to be like, I'm going to pick up every organic cotton. I mean, you can, but always make sure you're stacking your reasons to pick it up. A good color, a good size, a good brand. Just because it has that feature, doesn't always mean it's going to be worth money. But this Task, I do like that, selling that brand personally. $17.73. And it's going out to Virginia for $6.84. It's 13 ounces. I have a couple, just a big mix. I mean, when you sell $700 in a weekend, I was like, whoo. A lot of it was Saturday. It was the day after I met my 15 item listing goal, and I don't normally list 15. So I do wonder, like, eBay was like, whoa, she's working. Let's get her some sales. I don't know. I don't know if that's a made up thing or not. I do know and truly believe that listing consistently is a big part. eBay wants to know that you are working your business, and I think it makes a difference. And I'm a thinker, so now I'm just thinking, geez, since I listed so many on Friday, did that bump me up in some of these searches on eBay? I don't know. This is actually Pendleton. Pendleton is known for more of their wools, their career wear type of stuff, and this was just like a tropical shirt. It didn't do that well. It only sold for $8. It's going out to California, which makes sense because it's more of like a tropical, kind of earthy print. I probably would not pick up Pendleton in anything but like their classic vintage tartan plaid type of stuff. This sat forever. Not much money there. Happy to move it. I would really love to hear from anybody who's on Poshmark. Let me know. How are you feeling? There was a huge breach. That's why I feel like I have to do another video about, there's so many things happening with Poshmark again. There was a breach over the weekend, and people who, they're saying a lot of it had to do with a cross-posting app called Sidekick, which I hadn't even heard of until like last week. They woke up and their closets were basically deleted. They woke up and they had no items listed, or very few. And I'm talking lots of people. I cannot imagine how much stress that brought people, and how much they were probably very upset, because I would be very upset. Another stinker sale here. Sparrow. See that little bird? Anthropology. Size small. Didn't do much. Kind of a basic. Smaller size. Sat for forever. $5 on that one. Happy to move it. But can you imagine waking up one morning and this is like my livelihood. And people are, look at, I'm so scattered right now. So scattered. People were talking about, like, they woke up to 8 suspension emails, because a lot of the stuff that's happening with Poshmark is bot or AI, motivated. They set some ground rules, like, hey, if the auto bots, as I always like to call them, like they're out of the Transformer movie, see weird activity, then the bots flag these accounts and do random stuff without like a real human looking at them. So people woke up with like 8 different emails on Sunday saying that their account was suspended, or, they logged them out because they had suspicious activity, and some of them went to their closet and there's nothing left in their closet. And honestly, I cross-post. I've cross-posted for a long time. I used to do it manually before I had my listing tools. But there are a lot of people out there that only sell on one platform. And there's a lot of people who only sell on Poshmark. Some of you might even be people who only sell on one platform. And so now that platform, another stinker sale, Aster, A-S-T-R, really cute little, boho print here. Dolman sleeve, boho, dolman sleeve, blouse, lightweight, $5. I'm just like trying to get some of this out. So that's another reason why Poshmark is just making me feel very nervous. Like I said, I've gotten a couple emails. Just check in, let me know. If any of you are on Poshmark, is it your only platform? How do you do there? Did you get any of these warnings? Are you hearing about all this? I'm like, the chaos is getting to be too much. And honestly, it's been happening for a while, because Poshmark is doing all these changes and all these weird things. And it's been like week after week after week. Like, I think I read a comment somewhere that was like, could they just not make a change for like one day? Because people are just feeling overwhelmed. You're making a change and you're making another change and you're making a change. What happened to the square photo? Some people say it's there. Some people say it's not. They're going to be going to white photos. Somehow they got hacked. A bunch of people's accounts got whatever. I myself received multiple emails today. I had to reset my passwords. Like, what is happening? It is just very chaotic. Here's this Eileen Fisher. What did I get for this Eileen Fisher? So Eileen Fisher, 87% linen blend, flagon look, women's blouse, but it was an extra, extra small, and it did sit. I would say this has been sitting for 9 months. Eileen Fisher, great brand, $21 plus shipping, but again, smaller size, and yeah, that's the biggest thing, is this is an extra, extra small. If this was a 2X, it would have moved way faster. I know that. I just know it. But still $21. I think that's still great. So just took a lot longer to sell. let's talk about some food. Is anybody still here? I got to get this stuff shipped. Oh my goodness. What are we making for dinner? I was going to do Mississippi pot roast. Most of you probably have heard of that. It's where you take like a chuck roast, and you put au jus and Italian or ranch seasoning, and you put a jar of pepperoncinis, or peppers of your desire, and a stick of butter in the crock pot. But I realized my roast was small, and 1 to 2 pounds for a 4-person plus size family is not enough. I need to get another one. It just was not going to be enough meat. But if you don't know that, that's a classic rotation in my fall winter crock pot meals. I usually serve it over mashed potatoes. And I was kind of craving mashed potatoes. I'm like, oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. I'm just going to make homemade mashed potatoes with it. I'm going to stop at the store. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Mississippi pot roast. Some people do it with chicken. You know, you can take these solid, if you like the flavor profile, right, and change it. You could do pork. You could do, a lot of people also do chicken Mississippi pot roast. And it comes out delicious, hearty, over some homemade garlic mashed potatoes. Yes. You guys know I'm like I can make a hearty meal. I can't make like, I don't know, scallops and risotto. I mean, I can, but it just... So that's what we were going to have. What am I going to do instead? Here's a little tip, or a thought, if you're open to this. Here's another great brand, Packed. Another brand you guys know I love to sell. Size medium, organic cotton pullover, dark gray, casual and active. Packed is another sustainable eco brand. Usually has some type of organic or recycled material. They're pretty trendy right now. Yeah, it's a great little item. $23 plus shipping. So a great sale there. Great bread and butter. My sons, I know some of you are going to be like, what? Love the chicken from Walmart out of the deli section. They have, usually, depends on the day and when I get there, orange chicken, General Tso chicken, barbecue chicken, and the price is pretty affordable. So I will go and get it. My one son loves the General Tso, T-S-O. You guys always help me with my pronunciation. I don't know what it's actually pronounced, but he loves it. And so I'll go for like a little thing of 24 from Walmart. So it's just like a boneless chicken wing and sauce, but it's already cooked. I don't have to get out my air fryer. I don't have to get out the, it's already cooked, warm, gooey, layered in sauce. It's like 50 cents per. So I get a 24 count for like $13 at Walmart, and I'll get 2 different flavors to feed my family. And then I'll serve it with rice, maybe like a noodle, something else. I was going to do rice and maybe like a slaw with it. It just kind of, I don't know. It just kind of depends. But my kids love it, and it's already made, and it's affordable from Walmart. So if, 24 pieces might feed a smaller family or a couple with maybe small kids. I have to get 2 because I have giant children, and 24 is not going to cut it. But I'll get 48 boneless chicken wings for about $25, and then I'll just throw in a side with it. Vegetable, rice, something. I'll even do like a French fry like it was just at Buffalo Wild Wings, right? And then that's still only like a $30 meal for me. And that's actually pretty affordable to feed 2 athlete sons and chubby parents. Okay, so that ends up being, that's not one of my cheapest meals, obviously, but it is an affordable, easy, somewhat affordable. I know some of you are gonna be like, that's not affordable. If you could just do the 124 count, if you have a smaller family, and just throw like a side, like I said, do French fries with it like you were at Buffalo Wild Wings or some kind of small app, you'd only be spending about $15, $17 on something that was mostly already pre-made for you. And honestly, I like the chicken too. It's pretty good. I know it's Walmart, but I'm like, we'll see how anybody feels about that. That's my change now that I have to go get another roast. The roast wasn't big enough. This is going out to Oklahoma. It's going to cost $6.84. And I will do the Mississippi pot roast tomorrow. Yesterday we did the grill. We marinated a bunch of chicken breasts. Usually we cut them in half or we cut them into like tender size. And we tried something new. We added orange juice with lemon juice and a little Italian dressing. We usually use some kind of acid, like lemon, salt, Worcestershire. And then we did stuffed peppers, like cream cheese stuffed, like a jalapeno pop. We did do a couple jalapeno popper type of peppers. And then we did Brussels sprouts. My son asked for Brussels sprouts, lemon juice, salt, pepper on those, and sliced radishes, because my son had a football banquet where we were supposed to bring something, and I made veggie pizza out of croissant. So, I mean, I did make quite a bit this weekend. And on half of the veggie pizza, because it was for a bunch of kids, teens, I did green onion and radish on it. And then the other half, I just left it more like broccoli, carrot, cauliflower, cheese, cream cheese spread. Oh, I love veggie pizza. Veggie pizza, yes. So I had leftover radishes and so that's why we sliced them up on the grill. But if you're not a radish person, and I'm not really, I grow them every year in my garden. And my husband's always like, we never eat those. We only do when I bake them in the oven on slices like they're chips, or do them on the grill. Put a little, butter or olive oil, some salt and pepper, and they honestly taste like a potato chip. I know, that sounds crazy. Radish is not a potato, although it's a root vegetable, right? John Varvatos. This is one of those brands that is higher priced, but sits for me. Made in the USA. Actually made in Peru. Size extra large cotton blend thermal Henley. I got $17.77 for this. John Varvatos. Like I said, it sits for me. It's much more. Sometimes these brands are very expensive and trendy, but they don't always sell or resell for that. I kind of mentioned, it's like Michael Stars. That sits for me. Sometimes doesn't sell for a whole lot, but it's very expensive as a new item, like if someone bought it at the retail store. So John Varvatos, going out to Texas. It is 10 ounces. So don't dock it till you try it. Is that what they say? The radish on a grill or in an oven with some butter or oil and some salt and pepper. And especially if you are trying to do, when I was trying to be skinny and do like lower carb options instead of potato chips, they were pretty good. They were a good substitute option. Down to Texas, $6.05. And the Brussels sprouts were great. I'm more of a little bit more lemony girl, so I add a little bit of lemon after they come out. I'm not chubby because I like ice cream. I like I like salty, vinegar, acidic things, which is probably why I have so many gut problems, because my stomach's always like, why are you doing this to me? So yeah, I love chips and dip, and so sometimes when I'm trying to make healthier choices, those types of things are good options for me. Another great brand here, if you're still listening to me, these crazy Monday chatty ship with me, is Terzo Millennial. Terzo Millennial. Made in Italy, women's size small, 100% linen, lightweight dress here. Most of the Terzo Millennial items I've ever found were linen. It does have like a beachy boho kind of circle print there. Again, a mix of some heavy things, some coats, some jackets, some blazers, and then some other things like these linens. This is going down to Louisiana. Yes, you could do boho, beach, wagon look probably. Just very classic. This brand is one to know. Is usually a pickup for me when I find it. So yeah, we did the grill. We did the football banquet for my son. He got an award. Oh, my big guy. If you go to my Whatnots, and he pops on every once in a while. My big 6'3" guy, he got a little award. You know, it's end of season, so they just do like a team building thing where they all get together. I brought the veggie pizza. Love veggie pizza. And everyone kind of brought something to bring, and we all hang out, and it was a nice end of season for him, and it was nice to be recognized. He's a really hard worker. And now my other son starts basketball. So I love watching my kids play sports. I know we've talked about this before. So many of you have, you know, kids or grandkids in an activity, soccer, dancing, band. You guys have commented so many things that you love to watch. And some of you always hit at my mama heart because you're like, you only have 18 years. And my are just turning, they're in their teens now. And I know I only have so many more years to watch them. And I'm trying not to cry on camera today. So I will not go into that a whole lot, but I'm really trying to embrace every moment. I was so proud of my son yesterday at the football. It was the thing he didn't know he was getting. It was this son, you know, this guy, he works really hard. You know, in a couple games he had this many tackles, blah, blah, blah. Congratulations, Cole. My son's name is Coleman. And I was like, oh my God, that's my kid. Like, it was just such a nice, only a couple kids got those. So it's really nice. And he works really hard, and I'm so proud of him. This is another Pendleton, but this is more of a classic Pendleton. First, obviously with the plaid, this is wool. This is made in Costa Rica of USA fabric. Size large. It was 100% virgin wool. I put in career wear. So this is more of the Pendleton that I would still consider picking up. It sold for $35 plus shipping. Going out to Indiana. Obviously, that other Pendleton I showed you earlier was like a tropical button-up blouse. They didn't do much in that, and you know, that's another thing that even I have to remind myself. Just because it says Pendleton doesn't always mean it's a pickup. Layer the reasons to pick it up. This had many. The plaid, size large, 100% wool, virgin wool, and it was also vintage. So those are all reasons to pick it up. And a goal of mine in 2026 is to not always feel desperate. Like the last time I went to feel desperate. I am desperate in life. That's for sure. Could I just win the lottery now? That would be great. Like when I go to the bin sometimes and it's a slow day for me, I feel desperate, so I maybe pick up things I probably shouldn't. Again, this was a $35 plus shipping sale with this Pendleton blazer. And I have to be better about doing that. It's okay to go home with only a little bit. I always try to hit that 50 pounds. Now mine is 50 pounds to hit the $1.59. And I always want to hit that, and I pretty much always do. So when I'm not going to hit that, then it goes up to $1.99 a pound, which you're like, that's only 40 cents. But if you do the math, if I hit 45 pounds, 40 cents per all of those pounds is a lot. It ends up being like a $20 difference on a haul. And then it's $2 per pound. So then my shoes go to $4 to $6, and it just doesn't seem as great at $1.99 a pound. Woo, are we almost done here? $700. That's never going to happen again, probably. Really great. Like I said, some higher priced. Here's another $35 sale. Here's a $25 sale. Torrid 4. I got this at the bins. It is heavier. Torrid. It's a sweater. It's a 4X, and it's this fun print. I love this. Multiple color, multiple animal print. Sweater, multi-print, size 4X. I think all those are the reasons why. This sold for $25.58 plus $9.99 shipping. And it is heavier. This is fun and colorful. Yeah, I think this is a fun little sweater. But, you know, most of the Torrid isn't going for $25 anymore. This went for $25.58. So going to Virginia. A couple more items here. Oh, 3 pairs of shoes. What else do I have planned for the week for food? I don't know. Even yesterday, my husband and I, we were considering the chicken. We've done so many things. That's why discussing dinner ideas with you guys is so good. Maybe I'll do that taco soup one of you was talking about. Yeah. Some kind of soup is when you've made so many meals, and we make a lot of meals at home, usually 4 to 6 days a week I'm making a meal at home. We might have a cereal or a sandwich day, and maybe one time a week we get something out. Like we might go to whatever. Where did we go last time? Where did we go? Oh, the last time we ate out, we went to a local place, a local hot dog stand type of place. So we're making a lot of meals, 6 meals a week. You know, I'm always making chicken. I'm always making beef. Like what, what else can I make different this week to kind of switch things up? Going out to Virginia, this is 1 pound and 10 ounces. So it's a little bit heavier. But Virginia isn't actually too bad for me. It's still only $7.81. That's actually a fantastic price for such a large package. My thing is overflowing here, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of these last items and then be out of your hair. Be sure to check in. Let me know what's happening with your Poshmarks, or any of your tools or your plan, like your reseller tools. If you use Sidekick, were you affected by that? It's still very chaotic. It is making me feel anxious. And with my whole life, my whole life is changing right now with my reseller business and adapting and changing with how I'm making money for my family. It is just not a great time to be dealing with some of this. This is a really heavy Carhartt. I actually picked this up from a buddy. I don't know if you guys remember, I mentioned that he kept saying, come on over, come to my garage sale. I have a bunch of tall items. My son didn't want this one. He was charging $5 for heavier stuff. It's a XLT Carhartt relaxed fit shacket. It is like Sherpa lined. Very, very nice. I accepted an offer for $35. I think if I held out a little bit longer, I might have gotten $40 or $45. There's your Carhartt hit there. I've sold several things from that garage sale. He knows I've been a flipper forever. He's like, come on over. First of all, I have tall kids. So he's like, come buy, your kids something from my garage sale. I have a ton of talls. Talls are hard to find and usually do sell better for me. And then he's like, yeah, if you want to flip it, I don't care what you do with it. Just get it out of my garage, which is great. This is a pair of Vionics I shared with you guys not long ago. I got them at the bins. Vionics are moving slower for me, but this was still a great sale at $23.87 plus shipping. I get most of my water shoes at the bins as well. These are Morels. This is what I mean. I'm shipping out giant shackets, and then I'm shipping out like these water hiking outdoors shoes. Slingback. Morel is a great brand. And then these are really cute. Those water shoes from Morel sold for $24 and plus shipping. So that's a fantastic sale. And these were also a bins find. New Tags Maurice's, kind of that classic brown color studded heel. Cowgirl, equestrian, kind of ranch rodeo. And these sold for $21 plus shipping. So as you can see, this is 35, 20 something, 22, 21. Lots of great solid sales, a couple big sales. I'm very happy. $700 in a weekend is a lot for me. It's a record breaker for the year that I could ever find for these 3 platforms, not, including like a Whatnot or anything else. I'm very thankful. You guys check in. Let me know how your Monday is going. I would really like to know. Things be crazy. Printers acting crazy. Poshmark's going nuts. I hope you are doing well. Check in. I love you guys so much. Thank you if you made it to the end. It really means a lot to me. And I'm hoping the week will be great for all of you and for me too, maybe. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.